Good evening. This is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Gloria Mangi. First, the national news. Tanzania has called for a comprehensive review of the United Nations policies to address challenges facing developing countries from Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Here's more on the story.
While addressing the United Nations General Assembly in New York, President Kennedytz said various international organizations under the world body have left Africa and other developing nations out of mainstream representation, leaving the responsibility to financial and development institutions from developed economies.
It was the critical phase in the decolonization of Africa and the struggle against apartheid and minority rule. It is heartwarming indeed to see our efforts, sacrifices and contributions having been rewarded so handsomely with the independence of all African countries and apartheid having been dismantled in South Africa. Mr. President, I end as I began, reaffirming our faith in the United Nations, a true embodiment of humanity. We dedicated ourselves to respect the values and principles enshrined in our Charter, and we shall continue to play, as we have always done, in these first 50 years of our independence, a full, honest, and a constructive part in the work of the United Nations.
President Kikwete asked the UN member states to honor their pledges of allocating 0.7% of their national budgets to developing countries, being their contributions towards improving service delivery in the latter, in areas such as education, healthcare, climate change, poverty, water, security, and sustainable food availability. The head of state highlighted enormous challenges facing Africa, such as perennial drought, which has significantly affected large parts of the Horn of Africa, especially Somalia, and now spreading to other parts of the Eastern Africa region.
Prime Minister Mizengo Pinda has ordered that any sugar consignment impounded while being exported illegally to be nationalized and sold openly at government-decreed prices. Here's the report.
The Premier gave the directive to the state security apparatus via regional authorities in Musoma Urban while wrapping up his 7-day tour of Mara region, during which he said the police force have impounded 8 truckloads with more than 1,600 bags of sugar en route to neighboring Kenya. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Pinda has warned leaders and civil servants from the regions and local authorities in the country to stop confining themselves in offices, but rather go out to the people and address their problems instead of waiting to do so during tours by national leaders. While in Tarime, after inaugurating a building that houses Tanzania Revenue Authority offices, Prime Minister Pinda warned the authorities' workers not to be corrupt by overtaxing business people, but instead discharge their duties with diligence and utmost integrity in order for the government to improve revenue collection from the current 490 billion to 700 billion shillings a month.